Alright, so my mic is on, and it's just going to be a quick test stream. I mainly just want to see how the audio sounds. I know there's probably some background noise, so I'm just going to try and dial it in. It's just going to be a quick test stream for that purpose. But I'll have a bit of fun too. Alright, what am I doing here? Okay. I don't know why. I guess I just somehow missed that part. Alright, anyways. So, this is a reproduction, a fairly accurate reproduction of my dad's side of the family, his place, the main house. So this was my grandma and my grandpa's house. I spent quite a bit of time recreating it, mostly from memory, although I had a bit of reference. I had some photos here and there, but for the most part, just kind of went by memory. So anyways, this is going to be a very quick stream, just trying to set things up and sort of listen to the audio. And I want to see if I can still export to YouTube, which I should be able to. I was doing that before. So what I would like to do is I would like to read books live, which is something I've done before, although not on Twitch. But I did that on another streaming service, and I really enjoyed it. I read a little bit of Edgar Allan Poe, short stories. What else? I think just a few of those to warm up. And then I read The Grapes of Wrath, which kind of made me really depressed. But I read the whole thing from beginning to end, and it took about a couple months. What I would really like to do, though, is read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings trilogy. But of course, if the audio is not great, then oh well, I'll just have to live with it. And so I'm streaming on my PlayStation 4. I had a laptop I was streaming on, but I don't really want to set that up. I suppose if I really had to, I could. But I would rather just do it this way. That way I can continue to kind of make progress on this project, because it's still a work in progress. It's mostly finished, but there's still some things to be done. I'm like, this is supposed to be a pool table. I think I need to move this, but anyways. Here's the kitchen. Well, here's the dining room, if I can get in there. It's dark, so it's a bit hard to see. But this is where everyone's sat for their meals, lunch and dinner mostly. And here's the kitchen. Whenever these show up, this is supposed to represent a television, so that was the closest I could get to that. There's a microwave. So here's it's of course a lot more beautiful when it's not raining and dark, but I'll just have to wait patiently. There's the dishwasher, and this is the double sink. Got to kind of use my imagination here a bit. Here's the trash compactor, and over here's the stoves. And there's a big main table. I had a little cutting board over here. This is a little table with a couple chairs, just a little mini table here. So let's see. It is mostly finished. Oh, that's something else. There's the laundry room. That's supposed to be a big fridge. Let's see, is the other? Yeah, there's the main fridge. So I noticed when I was adjusting the microphone level, this is not a terrible microphone, but the thing on the PlayStation is you can't really adjust much on it. You just plug it in and there it is. So I can adjust the levels as far as how sensitive I guess it wants to be or how loud and how quiet. But that's really it. So what it's mostly picking up is the sound of my PlayStation itself. So if there's like a buzzing or a humming in the background, that's really what that is. And there could I could try and fix it by getting closer to the mic, but I don't. There's really only so close I can sit to the mic where it just becomes too uncomfortable. So I don't know. I'll just to see where it goes. So this is one of the main unfinished areas. This is where the I don't know how to refer to them. I guess that the housekeeper, because with a house this size, you kind of, I guess, I don't know. They needed a housekeeper, and they had tons and tons of animals. I used to tell people my grandma had about 50 dogs and 50 cats, and that was not an exaggeration. She had lots of horses too. So one of the things the housekeeper would do is feed the animals at least twice a day. So I haven't. This is just an empty room. I haven't finished that. And then the other one that's unfinished. It doesn't even have a door yet. This was my grandpa's room. My grandfather. We just called him Bop. We didn't really call him grandfather or grandpa. My grandma called him Dad for obvious reasons, but we just called him Bop. That was his name, Bop. And this was his bedroom. I haven't really started on it. And he was the one that it was his fortune, so it was his home, everything he paid for. So anyways, there's another unfinished room. And this is sort of an, this is also unfinished. It's just an office room. Alright, so here's the master bedroom. There's the big bed. And a big TV. There's a little patio out here. Oh, I did get started on the lake. I wasn't sure. There's a big lake back here. And right now it's just a little pond. But work in progress. But it's come a long way. Anyways, I'm not going to do the whole entire grand tour, but just kind of walking through a bit. And like I said, I'm just really kind of just testing out the mic. So I'll look at the replay and listen to it. And export it to YouTube and all that fun stuff. So I'll probably just kind of cut it here pretty soon. Although I'm kind of waiting for the sun to come out as well. Here's the bar. They had what were they called? I think they're called silver dollar fish, some kind of big fish that look like a silver dollar. So there's supposed to be fish in here, but I don't know how to do that in Minecraft. It's just the base version. I don't have a bunch of mods or anything. And here's the swimming pool, and I did build the slide. There was a slide. No, I didn't mean to do that. I'm still getting used to the controls. I wish there was an undo button. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Yeah, not bad. Perfect. Okay. No harm done. Let's climb up the slide. Swimming in the rain. Alright. Well, it would be nice for that big, beautiful sun to rise any moment. Now, in here, she had lots of exotic birds in this area. And there was a red macaw. I think the red macaw was somewhere around here. In this one, there was a cockatoo. And all over the entire property was just peacocks just wandering around. But anyways, at some point she kept a lot of cats in here. But usually it was birds. Lots of birds. More birds. And then over here is just kind of the pool, I guess changing room / bathroom. It was basically an unused area. It's really nothing ever really happened in here. I think we gave the cats a bath in the sinks in here once. That was about it. And then she used to have a really mean chicken. It was a rooster. And he used to live in here. Yeah, this was his spot. And if you came in and looked at him, he might chase you. He'd chase you all the way over here. Chase you all the way back into the house. And then he usually stopped right about here because he didn't like to go in the house for whatever reason. But it was his domain. He didn't really hang out too much by the pool, but he wasn't around forever. He was just kind of showed up. She did have a green parrot too, but the green parrot wasn't out here. He lived inside. Alright. Just a little bathroom in here. There's a changing room, makeup room or whatever. A bathroom. There's the roses. And so, well, this is the front door. I think I walked into the front door in the beginning. Yeah, I did. So there's the front door, and then these rooms, there's a piano, there's a grand piano. And these rooms were really served no purpose. They just kind of were, I guess, for entertaining, like if you had a party or something. Although whenever she had parties, this was like, it was just in here. But anyways, and there's a big TV. I think the sun's coming out now, yeah. Oh, it's going to be overcast and raining. Oh, well, that's okay. Alright, so I figure if I want to stream, you know, a bit of Minecraft here and there. Well, here's the room that I lived in for a bit. Now, this was usually my sister's room. But at some point, she moved out, or she was just like out of town or whatever. Now, I would always just visit on the summers, but I did actually live here for one school year in the 3rd grade. Or no, it was the 4th grade. So for the 4th grade, I lived here, and this was my little bedroom. Nice, pretty big bed. Good view of the front. And there's another little TV. There should probably be like a chest of drawers right here. And here's the kind of another changing room. There's a closet. And then a pretty nice bathroom. The showers, I guess it could, well no, I guess there was a tub. No, I think I have this flipped. It's mostly from memory, and the last time I was in this house, I must have been about 11 or 12, maybe probably not even that old. This was a real fancy shower. It had shower heads like all around, so you get sprayed from all angles. And I remember one time my sister actually had a little lamb living in here, but it was very messy. It didn't last too long. Lamb moved out after a while. They moved to a different spot. I hear a chicken. Here's the walk-in closet. It had its own doors, like a couple doors here. I don't know why I don't just use these doors. They're so much easier. So this is, I guess this is, yeah, this is fairly accurate. Obviously not the torches. This seems like it should be a little bigger, but anyways. It's a little shower that really didn't get used much. Mirror and sinks, and then the grand bathtub. It was a pretty nice bathtub. It was fancy. It had like I think it had like it had like about 3 or 4 faucets because it would take forever to fill up with just one faucet. So, anyways, a nice view of the front here. And here's a bathroom I locked myself in one time. Kind of got in trouble for that. The doors had this weird lock where you could actually lock them from both sides. And like the lock button was in, like on the inside of the door, like that part. So it was a little button you could push and it would lock like both handles on both sides. It's really bizarre. So yeah, that happened to me one time. I got locked in the bathroom. And I actually thought about like busting the screen out and climbing out this way, but I don't think that would have ended well. Although at some point I did figure out a way to get onto that roof. I don't remember how I did that. But if I can get back out, here's a fake fireplace. It had a fake log in there. Alright, let's jump out the patio. I actually tried to tie a hose. And I was going to like Indiana Jones down at this patio, but I chickened out, which, probably for the better, because that hose might have snapped. I don't know if it would have held my weight. So yeah, I don't remember how, but somehow, and maybe it was from the slide, like I got on the slide and then I was able to like climb onto the roof. I remember I got this calendar for my birthday, and it had like really awesome like Frazetta Barbarian art on it. It was pretty sick. But I was like 6 years old, and it had like really busty barbarian women on it, and I was afraid I was gonna get in trouble. It was like I don't think it had any nudity. It might have had like toplessness. It could have had topless pictures on it. But so I was like I got afraid that I was gonna get in trouble for it, so I actually hid it on this roof. And so there it stayed for a while, and then I went to go get it one day. So I climbed back on the roof, and I got to the calendar. And I like made my way back down here. Oh, this fireplace was awesome too, because it had inside and outside. So the outside, which never got used, but it was like a fireplace right here, and it was connected. This actually did get used. So there's the main fireplace. So I was holding my calendar, running up, and literally like running because I was afraid of getting caught, running up the stairs, and I made it right to about here. And one of my grandma's friends, I guess he helped take care of the horses or something. He caught me right here, and I was just about to walk in this door to I don't know, like put it in a cupboard or something. But he caught me, and he was like, "Oh, what you got there?" And he was looking at it, and he's like, and he kept saying, "These are ugly, ugly pictures. Ugly pictures." And they're actually really nice, but they were just like, they were too racy for my age. Like, I don't know. It was just a little too much. It was like overstimulated or something. But, man, like, if I still had it, it would be awesome to have. But you're just like, ugly, ugly pictures. And then he gave it back to me, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so I think that's enough test streaming. I have a bird clock, so a bird is going to sing in about 18 minutes. There's going to be a bird singing. So if you hear a bird singing, that's what it is. Let's see. So here's the main staircase. I remember sitting here waiting for my friend to get driven up, and I'd see him driving it. He'd get right to out there to get out of the car. So I'd come walking down. And I'd say, "Hey, I saw you," and he'd say, "Yeah, I saw you in the window." Anyways, so that's not every single little nook and cranny, but there it is. Now the thing is, this could be like a pretty long-lasting project because it's not just the house. So that's the main house, but as you can see, I've started a road. This is the actual address. Not like I'm doxing myself because I don't live there. It's actually abandoned now. Um, I won't go into all the details, but nobody lives there, and it's just empty inside. Um, and I don't think anybody owns it. I think it's like owned by the IRS or something weird like that. So it's just empty inside. Like the windows are all boarded up. Yeah. But this was like a whole ranch. So there's a. Let's see if I can fly over there real quick. So like there's the front gate. It's just too big. It's hard to get over there. Somebody else wrote that. I had it open for multiplayer. Somebody showed up and I looked at it and they wrote that. So this would have been a street. That would have been the main gate. And I could. The roads were good for riding bikes on. That's for sure. So yeah, it's like I thought about building like the whole entire ranch, and it's something to do. It's something I could do. But for obvious reasons, I just wanted to build the main house first. I don't know. This was a placeholder that I never finished. It's actually supposed to be brick. I'm not going to do that right now, but I need to replace that with brick later. So like I said, it's fairly accurate because of photo references, some of which I found online, some of which I took myself when I visited it. It's a cool little trip down memory lane, that's for sure. But yeah, so there would be like a big lake that's just a pond, and then my dad's house would be right around here, which is something that'd be easy to build. I remember that one pretty well. So right about here would be my dad's house, much smaller. Oh, there's a marker right here. I guess I put a marker right there. So yeah, his dad's house would probably be right around here, and let's see. Oh, the sun's out now. And then there's like little, I don't know what you call them. Well, they were trailers. They were trailers hitched up on cinder blocks. But they were nice. They were nice. And there were lots of trailers all over. There must have been like, so my dad had an actual small house. But then his brother, my uncle, had a trailer. And then there was another couple trailers. And then the barn was down there. And then more trailers by the barn. So there's, this could be like an ongoing project. And the house isn't even done, but it's mostly done. So anyways, I think we have plenty of content for a test stream for me to go back and listen to the audio. There's probably going to be some ambient buzzing, but there's really only so much I could do about that. I mean, if I wanted to hook up my streaming laptop, that's something I could do. But it's not really something I want to do, because I wouldn't mind just kind of working on this a bit. And, it'll be easier for people to find the stream if I'm not just like, I don't even know, I wouldn't even be able to stream any video games on my laptop, so it would literally just be like a JPEG with me talking. So I figure this is probably better than a JPEG and me talking. People watch Minecraft, but I wouldn't mind just kind of trying to build a different community. And anyways, the main focus would not be Minecraft. The main focus would be reading books, like a live audiobook thing, which is something I've done before, and I really did enjoy it. And they're like, that's just something I want to do. So, anyways. So before I wrap up, I'm going to go ahead and do a little practice read. I would like to read The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Why did I say that backwards? But I would like to read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings trilogy. I've read them before. I just bumped the mic. I've read them before, but not like in the audiobook thing. So what I'm going to do now, before I wrap it up, and I was really kind of thinking about, well, should I stream on Twitch or YouTube? I figure if I stream on Twitch and export to YouTube, then I'm on both platforms. I know the thing is, on YouTube, there's a built-in audience for audiobooks. But not so not so much on Twitch. Like, nobody goes to Twitch for listening to audiobooks, but on the other hand, people go to Twitch to hang out. And like, even if my audio quality is bad or subpar, you know, whatever, I don't care. Like, I'll just make the best of it. You know, and I might not be the best Minecraft player, but people don't really go to, anyways, you know, people go to Twitch to hang out with other people, so. Like, I've streamed Retro before, but the Retro community's pretty fleshed out. Retro has an awesome community, and I like to spend my time hanging out there and saying weird stuff and being a goofball and all that fun stuff. But as far as streaming, like, I've streamed Retro before, but my thing is like trying to force myself to talk while playing a game. And that's something I don't really particularly enjoy. I don't want to like be getting mad at the game either. Like, oh, this stupid game, it's pissing me off. And the other nice thing about reading books is like your content is already made for you. You're just reading the book. Like, I don't even have to think about it. Like, it's just there. So anyways, before I wrap up here, I'm gonna listen to the replay and export it to YouTube and all that fun stuff. Fun stuff. The thing is, if I turn the mic audio up, then there's more ambient noise. It's more just humming. And if I turn it down, I gotta like force myself to yell, which is not good, but I'll just listen to what it sounds like and I'll dial it in from there. Alright, I'm gonna pull my earbuds out because I don't need them. There we go. Alright, that's a bit more natural now. Let me take a little sip of tea before I start this. So my warm-up book, because I always think it's good to warm up. And even if I'm not trying, I'll just naturally get better at it if I warm up with something. So the book I'm gonna read, and if I get bored with it, I'm not gonna force myself to finish it. I read a little bit of this book. It's called The Tribe of the Tiger. The subtitle is Cats and Their Culture. So it's a book about cats. It's has a little caption. It's a New York Times bestseller, and the author wrote something called The Hidden Life of Dogs, and another book called The Social Lives of Dogs. So I like all animals. I had dogs before, but I'm just more of a cat person. I got a little 1-year-old kitten. He's laying on the bed right now, sleeping. I had to let him in because he was sticking his paw under the door and crying. He's very clingy. He's a clingy boy. But I had him since he was 4 weeks old and bottle fed him, so I'm all he knows, really. Just me and his old uncle who's on his last leg, but anyways. So I'm gonna warm up with The Tribe of the Tiger. So by the time I get to The Hobbit, I'll already be warmed up, and maybe a couple people will find the stream. And yeah, you know, I see like I've seen some streams on Twitch where it's just like an avatar that has no commentary, and people watch it. I mean, I've seen some things on Twitch, and people watch it. So I figured, you know, if I want to do this, there's an audience for everything. If I have one person or two people listening, you know, I just want to try to bring some joy into the world. That's what I've really decided I want to do. Just try to spread joy. There's enough going on to, you know, kind of bum people out. So if I can, you know, help somebody out and help myself as well, that's really the goal here. So anyways, I'm going to read, there's a little, it's called About the Title, and then there's also an introduction. So I'm not going to start on chapter 1. I'm just going to read a little bit here, just because I feel like it. Alright. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. So this is the main focus of why I want to start streaming again. Like I said, I've done this before and I really enjoyed it, but I read a very depressing book, The Grapes of Wrath, and by the time I was done, I was just like, I need a break. And it was when I read it, it was right at the beginning of a lot of crazy times, which are still going on. So it was a trip, but I'd rather read something a bit more pleasant now. And if I get bored with this, I'll just drop it and move on. The main goal is I want to get to The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So, The Tribe of the Tiger, Cats and Their Culture by Elizabeth Marshall Thomas. Oh, by the way, not that anyone's particularly listening right now, but I'm sure I'll have to mention this a few times. I live next to an airport, so that's the other thing. It's like I can't stress too much about audio quality because I got planes flying by my window on a pretty regular basis. So it's like you're gonna hear planes flying by, whatever. I'm not gonna like try to build a sound studio here. But I do live very, very close. It's a private airport. It's not like a big international. It's a little private airport for very wealthy people to fly around. There's like a lot of biplanes, like World War II era planes with propellers. Pretty cool. So about half of them are toys for wealthy people, and then the other half is for transportation because they got to fly to get to where they're going. Anyways, so if you hear a plane flying by, if it sounds like a plane, that's what it is. I'm just used to it by now. Okay. Alright, so reading a book about cats. About the title. The title of this book is from a poem called Rejoice in the Lamb, written sometime between 1756 and 1763 by the English poet Christopher Smart. The poem is long and rambling to the point of incoherence, a product of the confusion the poet experienced, and for which he was kept in solitary confinement in a madhouse. A more frightful setting than a rat-infested madhouse of the 18th century would be hard to imagine, as would the loneliness and despair that Smart must have known during his 8-year ordeal. His torment was mitigated, however, by the presence of a cat, Geoffrey, who became the subject of one section of the poem. That kind of hits close to home. Not gonna lie. Alright. That's the other thing why I gotta practice at this, because man, when you hit those feels, you gotta learn how to deal with it, because you don't want to start crying on stream. Alright. Some 75 radiant lines that are today well known and much beloved by cat fanciers, and that often appear as a poem in their own right, usually under such titles as Of His Cat, Geoffrey, or Geoffrey, or For Geoffrey, His Cat. The rest of the poem is virtually lost, known only to a handful of scholars of English literature. My book is but one of dozens, perhaps even hundreds, of books about cats that take their titles from Geoffrey. Almost anyone who reads the fragment, even those who are unaware of Smart's confinement and suffering, can share the strength of his feeling. In the following lines, for example, one feels the poet's prayerful gratitude for Geoffrey's company. In the echoing asylum, during the black, terrifying hours of night. For I will consider my cat Geoffrey, for he is the servant of the living God, duly and daily serving him. For he keeps the Lord's watch in the night against the adversary. For he counteracts the powers of darkness by his electrical skin and glaring eyes. For he counteracts the devil, who is death, by brisking about the life. one feels how the cat touched the poet's heart. For having considered God and himself, he will consider his neighbor. For if he meets another cat, he will kiss her in kindness. For when he takes his prey, he plays with it to give it a chance. For one mouse in 7 escapes by his dallying. For one mouse in 7 escapes by his dallying. And one feels the poet's inspiration. For he is of the tribe of tiger. For the cherub cat is a term of the angel tiger. I chose to take a title from the poem mainly because it represents a powerful link between a person and an animal, and also because the poem expresses the sanctity of an animal who the poet feels is serving God by his wholesome behavior and is keeping the devil at bay. I also chose the poem for its excellent and touching insights, made centuries before anyone thought that animals were deserving of good observation. To call the light brushing of noses between 2 cats a kiss, for instance, is to describe perfectly the greeting of cats who know each other, suggesting, incidentally, that there may have been a cat population as well as a rodent population in the asylum. While the observation that Geoffrey lost 1 mouse in 7 because he played with his prey is worthy of a modern field biologist. But most of all, I chose the poem because it expresses something that is intensely true of and important about cats. That their tribe is the tribe of tigers. As the cherub is to the angel, so the cat is to the tiger. And although today we tend to put the relationship the other way around, saying that tigers are a kind of cat rather than cats are a kind of tiger, the fact is that cats and tigers do represent the 2 extremes of one family, the alpha and omega of their kind. So one of the tricks, that's the end of the about the title. One of the tricks of reading aloud is you got to kind of read ahead of yourself or else you stumble. That's the main way you avoid stumbling on the words. You got to read ahead. You kind of buffer what you're about to say. So that's one thing I'll get used to again. Oh, there's the bird. There's my bird clock. Not gonna lie, I do love that bird clock. Alright, let me see. That was the house wren. I'm trying to look at it from here. It's a bit far away. I think it's called the house, or is it called the mouse wren? I don't know. One of those. Okay. So now we have an introduction, which is about the same length, and then I'll wrap it up here. The Tribe of the Tiger, Cats and Their Culture. Introduction. One summer evening at our house in New Hampshire, my husband and I were startled to see 2 deer bolt from the woods into our field. No sooner had they cleared the thickets than they stopped, turned around, and, with their white tails high in warning, looked back at something close to the ground, as if it would whatever frightened them also puzzled them. We were wondering aloud what might be threatening the deer, when to our astonishment our own cat sprang from the bushes in full charge, ears up, tail high, arms reaching, claws out. The deer fled, and the cat, who fell to earth disappointed, watched them out of sight. That's a brave cat. Our cat is a male and, at the time, was just 2 years old. He weighed 7 pounds and stood 8 inches at the shoulder, in contrast to his 2 intended victims, who weighed more than 100 pounds apiece and stood 3 feet at the shoulder. Even so, the difference in size and the difficulty of the task seemed to mean nothing to our cat. We realized we hadn't known him. In truth, most of us don't know our cats. Hunting, if we stop to think of it, should of necessity be topmost in their minds. Not that the obsession always shows for what it is, sometimes its manifestation is obscure. As an adolescent, this particular cat, for instance, became enormously excited by a winter storm. Eyes blazing, he tore around in circles through the whirling snow, leaping high to catch the flying leaves that the wind was ripping from the oak trees. In addition, he forcefully tackles just about everything that comes his way, including a large loaf of Italian bread my husband had removed from a shopping bag and placed on the kitchen counter. To our amazement, the cat came hurtling up from the floor, landed on top of the loaf, bestrode its back with his claws dug deep into its sides, and instantly delivered what should have been a killing bite to the nape of its neck on the left side. When the loaf took no notice, the cat swarmed all over it, slashing at it with his claws and biting it deeply all over its body. Still, the loaf ignored him. Suddenly, the cat stopped short, stared down at his prone quarry, and then, perhaps reasoning that the loaf was dead after all, quickly scratched around it as if covering it with leaves. As wild cats hide the uneaten portions of large victims from competitors. Yeah, my kitten does that whenever he's done eating. He starts covering his dish with imaginary sand, or I guess leaves as they describe it here. And I figured he was always saving the rest for later. Even if the dish is empty, though, he still does that. Okay. But there were neither leaves nor competitors in the kitchen. Abandoning the idea, the cat turned back to the loaf and rubbed it twice with his lips, swiping first to the left and then to the right. Then he jumped down from the counter and, without a trace of confusion or embarrassment, strolled from the room, head and tail high. Later, I photographed the badly mauled loaf of bread, with the killing bite still showing on the nape, the very place, according to field studies, where most man-eating tigers, such as those of the Sundarbans in the Ganges Delta, seize their victims. The cat had a tiger's name, Raja. In just about every collection of zoo or circus tigers, one is named Raja. And formerly had been called Raja Tori Peterson because of his interest in birds. But after he proved himself willing to hunt everything from deer to loaves of bread, we dropped the surnames. Later, it became clear that Raja was not the only cat in our community to hunt so ardently. Not 5 miles from our home live other cats who also hunt deer, and have done so long enough that the resident deer have lost all fear of them. At the sight of little cats staring up at them from the long grass, the deer whistle and stamp their feet in angry warning, but to no avail. The moment they lower their heads to eat, the determined cats creep nearer. Like Raja, these cats are well cared for by their owners, whose homes they share and whose affection they return. Not one of these cats must catch his own food in order to eat. What then explains the obsessive hunting? The answer to that question is the subject of this book, A Story of Cats and the Cat Family. End of introduction. And it goes on to part 1, the animal. And there's a nice illustration, sort of a sketch style, of a very large cat, not a house cat. And he's got what appears to be a lizard, a large lizard at first, although it's a bit hard to tell what exactly it is. He's got some sort of prey, he's holding it. And then on to the next page, there's another illustration of about a house-sized cat, if not an ocelot, some sort of medium cat, and they're holding on to I'm guessing is a mouse, but it's really difficult to tell. I'm gonna peek ahead and see how long this chapter is. So I do enjoy doing this. I enjoy reading the books aloud. Last time I had a very small audience, but to my surprise, there was a couple people, at least two people there. They listened to the whole book from beginning to end. Like I couldn't believe it. Like you really want to sit and listen to my voice, like read a whole book? But they did it, and I really appreciated it. That was really cool of them. So they must have enjoyed it. At that time, I didn't export to YouTube, and the replays on the streams would only last a few days. So one of the big things they said is like, you got to have a replay because that way, like, if you miss part of it and you want to hear the rest, it might as well have that option. So that's one of the reasons why I want to export to YouTube. So if someone shows up and they want to listen on their own time or they miss a chapter, they can always just go back and just whatever. See, I'm the way I like live entertainments because you're hanging out with the person. I don't really do VODs. It's extremely rare. Once in a while I'll do a VOD. And like I'll watch Let's Plays on YouTube, but for the most part, I like hanging out live. So anyways, I guess that's really enough for today. I guess I can stop it there. Oh, I didn't even see. I didn't even think about changing the camera angle on here. I've like completely disconnected from Minecraft. This is probably a better angle than that was, but whatever. It's a test stream, so we're gonna work the kinks out. So the thing is, when I'm reading, I feel like the audio quality is gonna be better because I'm projecting more and I'm a little closer to the mic and I'm like angled towards the mic. When I'm playing the game, I'm angled away from it and like I'm not really leaning into the mic, so I don't know. But if I see I'm trying to balance it out. If I turn it up to where it's too high, there's just going to be too much ambient buzzing in the background. But if I turn it too low, then you can't hear my voice. So that's the purpose of the test streams. So I think that's good for today. I don't really need to ramble on and on. But that was nice. So we did the about the title and we did the introduction. So next time we can start on chapter 1. And I did read a bit of this book quite a few years ago, but I didn't finish it. So we'll see about maybe finishing it. And then maybe by the time I'm done, if I finish the whole book, then by the time that's done, maybe there'll be like a couple people hanging out. And then we can read The Hobbit, which would be a lot more fun. And then when we finish The Hobbit, we can get started on The Lord of the Rings. So. And the other thing is I have to exercise my vocal cords because if I just go too fast, that was one of the things when I first started. It just, it was literally painful. Like, my throat would swell up. So I gotta get my vocal cords used to it again. They should be okay, though. I've got some of that throat coat tea. So, anyways. Alright, I think I'll call it here. And we'll listen to it and see if we can toss it over to YouTube and all that good stuff. So, I got the tags added. And yeah, all that stuff. Alright, that's going to be it for today. I hope everyone has a good rest of the week, and I'll see everyone around.